What's going on, everyone, and welcome back to the channel. Today we are going to be reacting to another Kevin Samuels video. Before we get into it, make sure you guys like and subscribe. Let's go.
Hi, Kevin. How are you?
I am well. How are you?
I'm doing well.
So what do you have for, how old are you, by the way?
I'll be 35 next month.
Are modern women gambling with their lives?
Um, I think they are, but I do like within that as a bullet point, I feel like I have a disagreement with how they should go about it.
Okay.
But I do think modern women are gambling with their lives because I just speaking from my own experience, I had a whole phase like a lot of women tend to have, and like something that especially millennial Gen Z women, that's, it feels like a rite of passage. One thing I can say, getting to 35 next month is that my whole phase definitely lasted way too long. I think
So do you think most women have a whole phase?
Um, I don't know if most women have a whole phase. I won't say that, but I know that where I am, like I'm in DC,
Okay.
and a lot of women are very career minded here, career driven.
Okay.
Lots of people are PhDs, MBAs,
Yeah, yeah,
whatever.
yeah.
Yeah. And so
So
becoming a wife,
what's the disagreement about though? So we got to
so
get to
the
that.
disagreement is about how I guess I feel like, and correct me if I'm wrong, but I feel like you've mentioned like basically going from the home, like going from your father's home to going to a marriage,
Yeah.
basically. And I feel like there should be time to explore. I'll
You
just be
mean there'll
frank,
be
to
a
explore
hoe?
your not being a hoe, but to
Stop right here. Hold
explore.
on. Let me ask you a question. Before what What do you think the average woman can learn out in the world experiencing other men that can
Um,
make her? No, I didn't even finish the question. Put yourself in a man's position. What can a woman experience of value with other men that I will find valuable?
um, I I feel like she can gain a sort of what's the word? Like you probably gonna roast me for this, but you gain a certain sexual skill. Like you talk about a woman should be able to, keep a man fed and then drain his balls, but you do pick up certain skills when you're out there. I'm not saying being a hoe, but just having a few
So you
experiences.
can't do that with you. So you think a man would find it preferable that you would do that prior to him?
I don't know, honestly. I don't know because
What? Okay, first she started off the conversation saying, well, I feel like, and then you knew it all was going to crumble from that point on, right? We all knew this. She then made a point, and then when Kevin pushes back and says, so you're saying that they want all of this experience before they get to you? And she's saying, well, you know what? I don't know. Well, what are you answering, right? What are you answering then? What point are you addressing? Because if you could just ramble on without even understanding the question, then again, that is a problem. Another foolish statement. But this is just crazy all in itself. Let's continue.
a
The
lot of
answer is no.
yeah, but a lot of
Hold
the men.
on, hold on, hold on. See, many of you women believe this, that it will be preferable. So, what you're basically saying is men who are territorial by nature and want women to be as close to virgin as possible. You know that, right? You know, men don't want women with high body count. You know that, right?
I know that, yes.
Right. So, what you're actually trying to sell is that there's a value in a woman getting out here and riding the cock carousel for a couple, 3, 4 years. That's actually going to be valuable to him as an asset. It's going to be an asset for me to go to the country club with you and Daryl saying, man, she's a great fuck. You mean to tell me it's going to be valuable? I take you to the mayor's ball. And he said, yeah, she sucked me off. And no, no, ma'am, no,
That makes sense.
no, because men are territorial. The fear is really, I think, honestly, if we're being honest, I think this is more of a fear from women. I want to get out and get it out of my system, because if I don't get the kind of dick I like at home, at least I can remember what it was when I was young.
Mhm. But is there not any value to getting it out of your system? Because I mean,
You're still not supposed
this
to
is
have it. You're not supposed to be a hoe. It's not supposed to be in your system.
well, not a hoe. I don't agree
You're
that
not
there should
supposed to
be.
crave. You're not. Okay, ma'am.
Mhm.
Let's talk about black folks. Did you watch the
Mhm.
show that I talked about sexual professionals? Go back and look on the community tab, or just be honest. How many times have you been around your sisters and they will tell you, women, black women will tell you, they left the men primarily on sexual grounds?
Yeah, a
I
lot of
know
women
it. I've
do.
talked to hundreds, thousands of black women before I did that show. I interviewed dozens, and each one of them shared story. And this was women from 22 to 70, all sharing the same stories, decade after decade after decade. The only reason women were that way is because of an appetite that they had before the man that was suitable came along.
Mhm. Right.
So I don't see. So if women find themselves to be wrecking their own homes because they are been imprinted sexually by another man, and they continue to keep looking for that same sex, you shouldn't have had it in the first place.
Mhm.
Women are not really
Um,
supposed to get out here and have whole phases.
mhm.
Why?
Good.
Do you understand why that is, though?
I do understand why that is. And the whole,
Biochemically, women bond differently.
yes, that's very true. And you pick up more damage along the way. I,
So there is, I have yet to have a woman truly articulate the value a woman can get from learning from other men through our quote unquote high value guy.
Mhm. Um, the thing that always comes to my mind though is that maybe this is anecdotal, but a lot of the men that I have talked to don't necessarily want virgins. I feel like modern men don't want virgins. I don't know if you
I
have
didn't
heard
say
of the show Married at
virgins.
First.
I said close to.
Mm-hmm. Right. But I mean,
Now
do
let's
you
understand
think that
something. Let's understand something.
uh,
Men, you talking about husbands?
mhm. um yeah.
No, no, they are husbands. They're married already, or they're seriously
No,
looking to
I
get
got
married
I got you. No, they're not husbands, but they want to be married at some point.
at some point.
Mm-hmm.
Different kind. Okay, if guys out here just trying to get laid, of course he wants to have great sex.
Mm-hmm.
But men who are trying to, uh, anecdotal, yes, yes, there are men out there who say, "Yeah, I would want a woman that's experienced such and so forth." I know guys like that, but they are in the minority.
Mm-hmm.
Most men accept the fact they would rather a woman with low miles and would have to teach her.
Mm-hmm.
Versus,
I mean, that's preferable, right? All men can say that. That is the most absolute thing that we would look for. That is absolutely the best thing to look for. Why wouldn't we? We would want someone that is better to pull them along, guide their hand and say, you know what, this is what you should actually be doing, and in a way that I will enjoy. Not how you made other people enjoy it. Because what they enjoyed may not be the same thing I did. So it's almost like you have to be tailor made. I mean, of course, she's not going to think about these type of things because it's not really in a woman's mind to really care about what a man wants, at least his needs.
damn, how she learn how to do that? Because he's going to ask the question whether he asks it or not.
Mm-hmm. That's fair. So
But
then go
go
ahead.
ahead.
Do you think that, so if a woman, goes to college
Mhm.
and I don't know, she's 22 or whatever, do you think that she should, or I guess how many experiences do you think are enough, basically? How much is too much? If she goes out and sleeps with 3 men before she gets married, is that too many?
Well, no, but I think we got to understand what women are doing today.
Mm,
Young women are having more sex than young men. I watched a show here recently where a woman, she's had 100 sexual partners in a summer.
that's a lot. Yeah.
I mean, I talk to women. Um, a question for you:
Hmm.
if you were going to, if you knew you had found the person you're supposed to be going to be with until the end of time, and you knew you guys were going to be together till the end of time, you'd want to delay getting together, or would you want to get started as soon as possible?
Yeah, I would definitely want to get started as soon as possible. Yeah.
And that's the whole point. The problem is with so many women, they're looking at fear and scarcity, but the problem is not the problem in leaving relationships today is modern women.
Hmm.
You're the one leaving. 80% of the time, women leave.
Hmm. Yeah.
So I don't really think many women really know how to be involved. And I find it hard to think that a woman who has had multiple sexual partners, and I'm making no judgment, understand something. I don't, but it makes it harder for you to bond. You know
Hmm.
that. And if it's
That's,
harder for you to bond, that's one more obstacle. Now, not all men are as open as reasonable as I am. Some guys will hold it against you, but the net of it is that I don't really see any value to a woman, to a man, for getting out here and having a whole phase, or getting out here and getting it out of her system. That's supposed to be a man thing.
hmm.
Sow your oats. Women are the oats. But, when this world where we try to make men and women equal, and if he can do it, she can do it. But here's the thing: men, it's a double standard, and women pay a different sexual penalty from promiscuity.
That's true. I can't argue with
So
that. Hmm.
even biochemically. So, um, all right. Anything else before we go on to the next person?
Um, I mean, I disagree with your stance on women's sexuality in general, like you saying that it's a man's thing.
What
Like
do you
I
mean?
know
My
that.
what is my stand? Oh, you disagree? Okay. What do you think my view is on women's sexuality?
Um, I I think that you believe that women have a sense of sexuality, but you think that men's desire for sex is more important than women's, and it trumps.
Biochem?
Mhm,
No. I think biology supports that. Is a
mhm.
female orgasm required for reproduction?
No, no, it's not.
Then take it up with the creator.
Hmm. Yeah, I mean, I get that, but I like even going to the whole, well, never mind. I'm not going to bring that up, the whole like men exercising options and stuff like that. But women, a lot of women, and a lot of women that I know are very sexual, and they end up with people who, did you say
And they're
something?
also very single.
Well,
And
no, I know of
and
some
they're very
married
single.
women.
And here's the thing: you can, and the thing is, one way tends to work and have relationships of value and meaning. I mean, if your people are from the United States,
Mhm.
how many people did your grandma or great grandma hold phase with before she got with with your great granddad or your granddad? Hmm?
Well,
How
probably
many?
none, but I don't.
Exactly.
Mhm.
And they were together 40, 50, 60 years. The stuff that we talk about that we want. But see, now we want to have the outcomes grandma and grandpa and big mama and them had, but we want the inputs of modern women. No, you cannot have it all. So if you
Mhm.
want to get out and explore your sexuality, do you, boo boo, enjoy. But understand it's going to lead to an empty ass life because
Mhm.
black women, especially black women, some of the most sexually liberated and free talking, thinking women, and you're the
Mhm.
most unmarried. I'm not saying causation, but damn sure correlation.
Mhm.
They also have the most atavistic mating standards. Black women, more than any other group of women, will get rid of a man based upon looks and sexual performance, even if everything else is above average or suitable.
Mhm.
So, where did this arguably dysfunctional attitude come from? Because it's not typical in human beings. It hasn't existed in our culture until the last 40 years. Is it helpful to an outcome?
No, I mean, No, the way you're putting it is not helpful. And
No, it's selfish.
mhm.
And the thing is, what we're starting to see is we're starting to see the beginnings of the first wave of free love, laissez-faire, don't tell me whatever. We're starting to see that group of womanist feminists hit their 50s. And I don't know if you've seen what pathetic looks like, sad looks like.
Mhm.
Go around your local city and see many women in their late 40s and 50s who've just done what they wanted to do with their life, their body, such and so forth.
Right.
They're
Well,
valid. I would venture to say that they're rather masculine in their attitudes and dispositions.
that's fair. Well, one last thing I want to say before I let you move on. What would you say about a woman who got married fairly early to somebody, and her husband was her only partner for 10, 20, however many years, and she gets to a point where she feels like she's bored and she wants to explore her sexual options, so to speak.
What do you mean? What I would tell her?
Hmm?
What do you ask me? What I would tell her?
Well, what are your thoughts on that? Do you believe that women can become like sexually frustrated and wish that they had
Sure.
experienced more? What was
Do you
that?
think? Do you think? Okay,
Mhm,
ma'am. Due respect. I
mhm.
don't act like you can have it all. I don't care if you're sexually frustrated. Go pleasure yourself. You have a finger, a dildo. Go figure it out. Women used to have to go to the doctor for hysteria, and he would strap something to his hand, plug it into the wall, and put his hand down there until she climaxed. But you need to look around your house and say, do I have a husband? Do I have a kid? Do I have 401k retirement? Is a life worth living or good sex? And even the Sex in the City women have come out and said this was bullshit.
Mhm.
This is a lie that's been marketed to women. The cosmopolitan lifestyle. I did a broadcast on this 2.5 months ago. Delayed marriage, open sexuality, uh, sexual choice. It's BS. What's the outcome? Do you know any women that are sexually liberated, sexually free, all these other things that are in happy, functioning, productive relationship that have legacy?
No, because I feel like it's a generational thing. I don't think
It's not a
we're
generational thing. Okay. So the answer is what happens what happens when sex is no longer that much of an option? You've used your yoni up and now it's 45 and don't nobody want it like they used to. Then that's when women start trying to come around. Hey, big head, now let's get together. And don't nobody want no old used bag.
right.
So
Yeah,
make
and
your choices. Make your choices, but understand something. One of the things that women have to negotiate with her youth, her beauty,
Mhm.
her chastity, and access to her womb. If you're giving up your youth for access to your body and your chastity, even if you're protecting your womb, you're giving up a lot of your value proposition. You think men would give up their power? No. It is unwise. And the fact that we have such laborious conversations in the black community about sex is pathetic to me.
Mhm.
Pathetic. We're at the bottom. The black dollar circulates 6 hours, but we spend more time worrying about getting off than building a mother fripping thing. I'm personally rather sick of the topic, but I understand why it's so important. It's important because black women keep it at the top. I don't know many men who've left their girl because the sex was bad, but I know a whole lot of women who left because she wasn't getting what she got in her college years or whatever. Well, take trade-offs and choices. But here's the last question: of your sexually liberated friends and all that, do they judge all men by the same sexual standards, or do they hold black men to a higher one?
Um, yeah, I think they hold black men to a higher one.
Then it's some bullshit.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
So
Yeah.
I'm sorry. That you should I would think you should find that offensive. I do, because that's crazy. But at least thank you for being honest.
Yeah.
And we can always
Okay.
talk about it, but I think maybe we just need to do a show on sex, and I'll just limit it to adults only and change the. Yeah, we need to have a conversation because we need to get to the point where we move past this. Thank you, Mom.
Thank you.
And she's, and and I want to be clear that the conversation needs to be had. I get it, but my personal opinion, just my Jesus Christ, folks. I like good sex, but come on, priorities. What does it rank? Vanessa, you that thing is married. Come on, Miss Mosley, unmute yourself, please. Hello, how are you?
I'm so nervous.
Go
So
ahead.
nervous.
Just here. The only thing, there's only one rule.
Yes.
Just be polite. I'll be polite to you if you're polite to me, and just try not to overtalk me.
Okay, you might have to guide me through it.
All right.
I'm so nervous. All
The
right.
moment,
So,
first time I had to guide a woman through something.
well,
Mm-hmm.
I am. I think you would say, yeah, I'm a commitment phobe. Um, I'm 43,
Okay.
and it seems as though I just keep having people wait on me to act right. Right. Um, yeah.
At 43? Shruggy?
It's something. So I just broke up with my latest ex maybe about a week ago. We had been together for 2 years, and I see that he tried. Um, he tried to be patient, and he was a high value guy. One of the things was I just, he had a lot of options, and I think I was just overwhelmed with the amount of options that he had, because I would see women throwing themselves at him. And I'm just like, well, what am I here for? You know? And then now I do have somebody who has been wanting me for years to act right, I guess. And he wants me to come live with him. But I'm scared. I've been on my own for a long time now.
Ma'am, do you have
Yes,
any children?
I do. I have one son.
There we go. How old is he?
He's almost, well, he's 18. He just turned 18.
And where's his father?
His dad is in Texas.
And why didn't you marry him?
I did marry him, and then we got a divorce.
Who
It was
left
very
who?
quick.
Who
I
left who?
left him.
Why? Why?
Because we were both in the military. I'm still in the military. And so he was cheating on me, and so I left him.
So why'd you have the baby first before the marriage?
I was scared to do that, but he kind of convinced me to
Where's your dad?
do that. My dad passed.
And what? Were your mother and father married?
They were.
And what age? And how long ago did your father pass?
He passed when I was probably about 27, but we had a very rocky relationship.
Uh-huh.
Mm-hmm.
So you are a military woman. When one woman I
am.
say avoid, who had a baby mama. Then you married your baby daddy, and you were shortly married to him because,
Yes.
like most military marriages, there's infidelity.
Mm-hmm.
Then you're out here, but you had 27 years of a father being on the planet, but that didn't stick. Then you're out here dating, knowing that there's things going on with your commitment issues or whatever,
Yeah.
to the point to where you fast forward and you were with somebody between the ages of 41 and 43. And he broke up with you because you wouldn't act right.
Well, I just ended it because I saw it wasn't going
So
anywhere.
you ended it. You broke up with him because you wouldn't act right.
Right. Because
And
I
then
felt
you
like,
then you injected something in the fact that somebody. This was a couple of weeks ago. You broke up with him.
yeah,
Then you inject in the fact that somebody from your past wants you to move in with.
yes.
What'd your therapist say about this?
I haven't been able to see him recently because of COVID.
What do you mean? I can see you right now on Zoom. That tends to work. I have a friend right now who sees patients every day, all day long. So don't give me that bullshit. Don't lie to me, lady.
I'm not lying. I promise I'm not lying.
Your therapist
Um,
doesn't take. When's the last time you saw a therapist?
March,
In person.
in person, March.
And how long
That
had you been seeing the therapist?
probably about 6 months, Kevin.
All right. So, ma'am,
Yeah.
all right. I don't know what clinically is going on with you, but I do know
Mhm.
this. You are not fit for any. When I say buy a dog, you need a dog. You need to leave men alone because you're raising a boy. You raised a boy.
I've raised a boy. Yeah, I
Oh my.
raised him.
So you're with a man that you first off, you said he's high value. I don't trust when women say a man is high value. They tend to mean a guy just means he's earning money. That doesn't make him
Mm-hmm.
high value.
Mm-hmm.
But why can't you seem to set your ass down somewhere?
Well, there's a lot of reasons, and I think one of them is being in the military for so long, like being in the military for 20 years,
So,
and this is the 10th place that I've been, Kevin.
so
And
you're 43.
so
You should
I'm
have learned
43.
something by now.
Right. Well, it's almost time for me to get out, and I've always felt, if I'm being honest, and this may be,
No, the truth of the matter is you missed it, man. The
mm-hmm,
man you felt he was better than you. Your self esteem. What did your baby daddy do?
hmm,
What did your child's
he
father do?
he's a he's a I don't know what he does. He changes jobs frequently. I don't know
Right.
what he does.
It's crazy because this woman really sat there and said, because this man or the previous man she was dealing with had so many options, it bothered her. Now, again, this should be something that most women will look at and admire, and respect. But for this woman, she wants to be put in the power position and she wants to be the main attraction. And as you guys can see from her previous situation, she just can't get right. She can't act right because she needs to be the star. She needs to be the one getting all the attention. And once she dealt with a man that had more than her in every single aspect of life, she was like, nah, can't deal with that. That's a little bit too much for me. I'm gonna need the spotlight. Let's go and continue.
So
Yeah.
is he on the same financial level as the guy you were with for 2 years?
No, but most of the men I've dated have been above, on a different financial level than my son's father,
Exactly,
unfortunately.
but your imprint was with a bum.
Mm,
That's why you can't be with anybody because you belong with bums. You made a baby with a bum. It's called
no, he's not.
ma'am, listen,
Yeah,
breathe.
I'm
The,
breathing.
the first thing I asked you about was your child's father.
Yeah.
Why?
To see who I picked I see. To see who I had a baby by.
Exactly.
Yes,
Your
sir.
imprint.
Hmm.
And the reason you can seem to possibly attract men that are better than them because you may be more attractive. But the problem is, ma'am, everything you're saying, I don't want to hear anything about it 43 years old.
I know, right? I know.
I know, and I'm telling you, at 43, you get no sympathy from me
I
because
know.
you know better.
I know. I
You
know.
just came in here saying you were broke up with a man that had been with for 2 years and he tried to be with your hard head self. And then you're going to actually mention another guy?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And that makes sense. How? Why are you even talking to another man? See, this is why I tell you guys,
Because I'm afraid of
listen,
commitment.
this is
Isn't
why I
this
tell you
the
guys,
show?
this is why I
Yeah.
tell you guys, do not deal with women who has friends, cut off her male friends, social media, because this is the shit that happens.
Yeah.
You should not even have access to an ex. And this isn't on your ex or the guy who wants
No,
you to live. It's on you, man.
absolutely. 100%. It's me.
So
It's
I
me.
guess you would tell your son that he should have to deal with women like you.
No, absolutely not.
Why not? He was raised by one.
Absolutely.
He was raised by one.
Yeah, but I raised him a little different
No,
than
you
to
didn't. He
expect a
saw.
little
No, no,
different.
no, 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 no. He saw you. He saw
Yeah.
you. And kids don't go by what you say. They go by what they see.
Mm-hmm.
Don't be surprised if he brings you home.
Mm. Hmm. I don't think he's gonna do that though.
Yes, he will.
I don't
Yeah,
think
he will.
I don't
Yeah, he
think he's
will.
gonna do it,
Yeah,
Kevin.
yeah, he will.
I don't think he's gonna do it. I think he's got
Right.
plenty.
Okay.
I think
I listen. This is the one time where I actually agree with the caller. I don't believe he's gonna want to bring anything that's close to his mother home. A selfish woman that's in her 40s, that's hopping from men to men that can't get right, that can't act right. Listen, she's right in this situation. Because if that kid grows, well, he's 18 now. If that man grows up and realizes what his mother is and how she's been moving, he is definitely not going to want to bring home a woman anything like her. So I actually agree with her in this situation. Insane.
he's
You're
got
right. I don't know what
plenty
I'm talking
sense.
about. You're right. I don't know what I'm talking about. You're right.
I feel like he's got plenty sense, and he
Mm-hmm.
knows that
Right. Right. Right.
I'm
So
not right,
so
even though I love
again,
him. So,
you will be the first woman in history, be the first child in history not to model what he see and what you told him. You're right. How much time did he spend with his dad growing up? Who had
so
custody?
I had custody of him for
Right. So
most
he
of
saw.
his life.
Right. So he saw men in and out of the
No, no, sir. No,
So
no,
no,
no.
no, no. Listen, ma'am. Don't get triggered.
Yeah, yeah. No, because I wasn't
Don't get
triggered.
triggered. Listen.
Yes, sir. Hmm.
You had him when you were younger.
Yeah.
How many boyfriends have you had in the last 18 years?
Well, a lot of that time I spent raising my son, that was part of the issue.
How many boyfriends have you had in the last 18 years?
1, 3, 3, 3 that he's seen. Yeah.
3 that he's seen.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
That's a hell of a lot of people, man.
You think? Yeah, you're right.
I know. So you're about to get triggered and tell me I don't know what I'm talking about. I'm like,
But
no, I do.
Look, that's very true. Listen, your son seeing 3 different men come in the household is one too many. Is one too many. She looks at it like, okay, well, think about it. Well, he's about 18 or 19 now. So if he's seen 3, then, that's not really that bad because he may have seen 1 every like 6 years. Listen, that's not it at all. At all. So the fact that she even assumed that wasn't a lot of men to see is insane.
Ma'am, all I'm
okay.
saying is this. Look, you can't undo what you've already done. But the thing is, if you're going to go through this, you need to leave men alone. Because it seems like because it would be different if you just said I had friends with benefits and I'm just over here getting with dudes and getting it in, scratching this itch. You seem to
Yeah.
go towards men who want relationships. Let me flip the script. Let me flip the script for you.
Okay.
Okay. Let's say that you were a man.
Mm-hmm.
And let's say you were going towards women who were trying to get you to do the right thing, but you had a commitment issue. And you as a man were running through and dealing with women who wanted to be wives or wanted to be in relationships.
Mm-hmm.
What would they call him?
A dog probably.
There you go.
Yeah.
Just
I'm
because
sorry.
you
That's not funny.
just
Yeah.
because you're a female, it doesn't change the fact because you know these things.
Yeah.
And why am I being so harsh, man? Because you
Because
came
I'm
on talk.
old.
No,
Yeah.
it's beyond being old. It's the fact that you said you had a 2-year relationship that you
Yeah.
walked away from less than a month ago, and you gonna tell me about some dude wanting you to go move in with him. That's I don't want to say the word, man, but that's foul. That's beyond foul. That's trashy, man.
I don't know if it's trashy because I
You don't
wasn't.
know if it's trashy. You were with a
No.
man for 2 years,
Yes. Mm-hmm.
and then you walked away from him 2 weeks ago,
Right.
and you've already cleared out the emotional contacts with him enough to be entertaining another man who wants you to move in two
Mm-hmm.
weeks.
Well, you have to understand we dated some time ago, and so
I don't have to understand a damn thing. If
you're
a
right.
man did that, if a man was with a woman for 2 years and she
Mhm.
wanted to marry him and he didn't want to get straight and he left her and then struck up with an ex who wanted to move in with him 2 weeks later, they would call him a what?
You already said it, a dog,
And that's trash.
and it's
So you
trashy.
ladies just think because you have a lighter voice and vagina that you guys aren't dogs.
Right.
You're the ones that leave relationships. And again, you have a son
I
and you
do.
left his father. And every relationship that you sound like you've been in, you've left. And your son has seen his mother leave men. He knows you. You know everything about him, right?
I do
And you only
everything.
have one child, right?
That's it.
Right. I'm an only child too. And I had a mother a lot like you. I knew everything about her and things that she didn't think I knew.
Hmm.
That's why you need to get back into therapy and get it on track or leave men alone or just deal with men who want to have sexual uncommitted relationships. But leave men who want to relate alone because you're not ready for it.
Well, I think I need to get ready because,
You can't get ready on your own. That's why I said therapy.
yeah,
You can need and if how maybe you need to go see a different therapist because if you had it for 6 months and you ain't been in it since March, yeah, you need to get back in that.
yeah,
And when is it over? When you're better. You don't get to put a clock on this.
right, right.
Kelsey, unmute yourself. I mean, seriously though, but you got to start looking at yourself
Well, I think I need
the
to
way the
get
world would look. I mean, you're a functioning woman. Like I
I
said,
am.
if a man were to do the things, we would judge him harshly. All right, go
Thank
ahead.
you.
All right, yourself down. You can come back. Tanisha, you can come on back.
Hey, how
Hello,
you doing?
I'm doing well, thank you.
Okay, so I'm the one who asked about you being married, and I wasn't trying to be condescending when I
But
said
why
that.
is
So,
that important?
I just this is just me and my train of thought. The people who give advice, like you wouldn't want to be physically trained by a fat person, for example. So I just asked the question and just was wondering, but
So so so
I was
so
trying to
you
be
mean
condescending.
so you mean that a person who's married would give better advice?
Well, I think a person who was in a marriage where the wife was submitting, or if she was a submissive wife, would give good advice. I'm
He
not saying that
hold on. How about but he would give good advice for his wife.
right,
That's one person.
right, but at
See the
least he
problem
had.
the problem with what you're saying, ma'am, is if
Mhm.
people only spoke about what they were actually doing at that time, no one could speak about anything. Because
No,
that
I'm not.
hold on, listen, because that
Mhm.
train never stops. Because what you're saying is, well, you should be married, and then your wife should be submitting, and then she should be submitting, and you should be working, paying all the bills, and then you should be black, and she should be black, and you should be from Texas, and you should have 3 kids, and you should be Christian. It never stops.
That's very true. One thing about like these stipulations is they will keep dragging it down into the ground or keep nitpicking at every single thing until they could find you in something that is actually wrong. And then when they find you with the one wrong thing, they can say, aha, you know. So this is 1,000% correct.
See, instead, why don't you just judge? Why don't you just judge the information instead of doing what we typically do in the black community and go ad hominem at the person? What
No,
was wrong? No, no, listen.
okay.
Because if you knew me, you know I've been married.
Mhm.
I've been over 3 singles ministries at 3 different churches, and I know what I'm talking about. But
Okay.
you put a test on there that makes no difference. I could be married, but
Mhm.
if I was 2 + 2 is 4, whether I'm married or not.
Okay, but then again, like how she would now, to be clear, I agree with Jeannie. I think a woman should be submissive, but just by the definition of submissive, men have to give women something to submit to. So if
Hold on. Are you
Mhm.
married?
I was married for 8 years before I filed
Okay.
divorce.
Are you Christian?
I am.
Okay. Still a Christian?
Yeah. To the day I die.
Okay.
Yeah.
Then this is going to hurt. Men is not supposed to give you something to submit to. You're supposed to submit to God.
First,
No,
and then
no, that's who you see. I'm a Christian and I've been over 3 singles ministries. Black women have some of the most strange interpretations of the Bible.
so
That's
are
why,
you does not that we
mm,
should to our
ma'am,
husband?
you're not submitting to me. You're submitting to, first off, who are you, when you're in marriage, who are you making the agreement with?
You're making the agreement with God and with your husband.
The covenant is
Well,
with God though.
correct.
So you're
And
submitting, and you're submitting to what in the man?
you said, what are you submitting to his mission?
No, you're
Submission.
submitting to the God in the man.
Okay.
So that's what you're ultimately submitting to, because man by nature is flawed. You don't submit to failed flesh. You submit to the spirit of the man, God in the man. See, what you're saying is if you actually were a Christian woman, you would be following God and submitting to the God in your man.
You're going to follow God if you're a
Well, then if
Christian.
that's the case, you said he has to
That's
give you something to submit to, and that's ultimately what you're submitting to.
that's a given, but the
No, it's
man,
not. No, it's not. You're saying he has to give you something to
just like,
submit to. That's
just like
ultimately what you're submitting to.
just like we submit to God, we also submitted to Christ in the flesh, right? So that's who he was. He was a fleshly representation of God.
Hold on.
So
You submitted to Christ in the what? No. I think you're conflating some things. But ultimately, ma'am, you said that man, if a woman needs to submit, a man needs to give her something to submit to. Like what?
correct. I think that's
Like
what.
what?
Well, have a plan for your life first
See,
of all.
again. Now you just went earthly.
How?
Uh, that God does not talk about a plan. Okay.
He
What?
said, "Be
Hold on,
fruitful,
ma'am. Hold on. What was?
multiply." So he
Hold on.
gave you
No, you're not going to talk over me. Hold on. What was Eve's charge?
to be his helpmate.
Exactly. That's it. She didn't have to submit to his plan or whatever. She was there to help. That's
He
your role.
already
Hold on, ma'am. That's your role. A woman's purpose on the planet is a man, and without a man, you are living uncovered. So I'm sorry, ma'am. You want to keep talking about a woman should have something to submit to. You're supposed to be submitting to the God in the man, not a purpose, not a plan, not anything else. Or else, if that's the case, you shouldn't have married him in the first place.
but God has a purpose. God has a purpose
And
here, and
and who did okay, you're right. He has a purpose. And who does God speak that purpose to? Does he speak it to you or does he speak it to the head?
he speaks it to the head.
Then exactly. So
Supposed
you're
to help.
supposed to follow the head.
I'm supposed to help him. Yeah, I agree.
So
Oh, yo, Kevin is Bible thumping right now. And this is why it is always good that he dabbled in a little bit of everything in terms of knowledge. Because look, someone that doesn't know what they're talking about is going to be completely lost in this conversation. And Kevin is like, no, you don't want a Bible thump here. I know exactly what I'm talking about.
you don't need to know the purpose. He does.
Okay,
Adam
but
did
you don't.
not have to share that with Eve. All he had to do was know which way to go.
But he had it. He had it, and a
And
lot of
who's
times,
okay? And the thing is, your presumption is that then if he had it, then she should submit.
right? And so you have to, as a woman, and you asked the question earlier. Why are Black women? I guess the word was scarred to the point to where we don't want. Well, some of us don't want to submit. Well, it's what we have tried to submit to up until this point, and we've submitted to abuse.
Hold on.
We,
No. I'm not gonna let you. I'm not gonna let you
What?
do that on my channel.
Really? Wow. Wow. That's what they submitted to? Okay.
No,
okay,
because on my channel we talk about facts. You're gonna talk about abuse. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. The facts, the data, statistics are in. You ladies talk about abuse like it's running rampant, and I'm sorry, the numbers just don't support.
I'm not talking about only physical abuse. I'm
Well,
talking about
you want to talk? You want to talk this stuff about mental abuse? I'm sorry, we can go the other way, ma'am. But how about this, man? You're a Christian woman. You filed for divorce. Why?
I filed for divorce 15 years ago when I didn't have a complete understanding of marriage.
Why?
I saved in that instance, he couldn't keep a job.
Why? Okay. He
He
couldn't
was
keep. He was flipping.
providing. He was not providing for the household. I was for the so since we're talking about who take on the masculine
All
role,
right, ma'am. Hold on. Do you have any children?
one by him.
Right. So he wouldn't keep a job, meaning that once y'all got married, he quit working, or he kept
We were
losing jobs.
no, he wouldn't lose them. He would just leave and go to other jobs that he thought would be better, but they turned out.
Okay.
In 10
All
years,
right.
we were
All right.
at
And
50.
then where'd you go out? Okay. So hold on. And
Mhm.
so after you divorced him, where'd the child go?
He's with me.
All right. And did he have to pay child support?
Nope, I did not file.
All right. So where does the child have a relationship with his father?
Not a strong one, but yes, they
All right.
speak.
So and is your ex homeless?
I don't know.
Oh,
I
okay.
don't.
All right.
My son,
All right. So, um, woo. Uh, see, here's the thing. I listen to a lot of women, and I will tell you, as after sitting in ministry after ministry after ministry, I will tell you one thing. One thing I've noticed about most of our women, you pick poorly, and then you're shocked with the outcome.
at 24, most of us pick poorly.
I'm sorry, man, but where's your father?
My father's in California,
And where's your mother?
in Georgia.
All right, why was your father not there to help you pick a husband?
My father was an alcoholic
Why was your father your father?
because my mother chose him.
Exactly. Pick
Okay.
poorly and then blame the product.
So what does that have to do with me?
Well, I said women pick poorly and blame the product. And you said at 24, I didn't have anybody to help me. And I said, where's your father?
Right.
Hold on. This is what it has to do with you because you picked poorly. If you had a father worth a damn, he could have helped you. But your mother picked poorly. And it sounds like
Okay.
you, hold on, ma'am. And it sounds like you picked poorly. I'm not
I did.
judging you. Hold on. I'm
I,
not judging you. Why haven't you remarried then?
actually, to be honest with you, I enjoy being single.
I
I make
bet you
six.
do.
I do. I enjoy being single. I
You
make six
better enjoy it because I don't think
I want.
anybody else will want to put up with this. Because see, the energy you're coming at this thing, ma'am. Look,
I have suitors, but I
you can have
enjoy being.
ladies. You can have suitors all you want to, but that shit runs out after about 50. You can have suitors all you want to. Bottom line is this: you came in and said, "Well, why isn't Kevin not married?" Kevin has been married. Kevin knows what he's talking about. That's why people
Okay.
come to my show. People don't come here because I don't know what I'm talking about. But what it does show is that, ma'am, you don't seem to understand what I'm talking about or what this means because you're by yourself. You have a son?
I do.
Oh my God. So, well, what do you think the
Mhm.
prospects are going to be like for him?
As far as the women that he chooses,
Sure.
I think the prospects are going to be very good
Really?
because I do
Okay.
honestly.
Okay. So, how old is he?
He's 10.
10. So, I did a show last night asking if competitive, successful, or high value black men should marry out. And to the woman on the panel last night, black mothers of black sons were saying, yeah, because the young ladies today are pretty bad off.
Mm-hmm.
You think the prospects are good for your son right now with broken family after broken family? Because to bring us up to speed, your mother married a man who had a problem with alcohol. You married,
Mm-hmm.
and that was a broken family, and she had to
Mm-hmm.
raise you by herself. You married a man.
Well, she got remarried after my father,
Okay,
but okay.
all right. Well, still, you married a man who couldn't keep a job, and have another broken family. So this will be the second or third generation, and you're raising a boy without a male role model and a dominant mother. Dominant mothers tend to make weak boys.
Well, he's not weak. He's very assertive.
Okay, you're right.
Mhm.
Okay, where's this? And the male influence is where?
Well, she just had a perfect life.
Throughout my church,
Jesus Christmas. This lady is off her rocker. She is lost. Trust me, she think God and her has this figured out. You don't.
mentorship programs. It's not like there's no male influence, like there's no testosterone around him and he's just dripping estrogen.
Yeah, the black men have left the church in mass, ma'am.
Right.
So,
haven't left mentorship program.
Okay. All right. So I would tell you this. From what I'm hearing from his mother, you sound very domineering.
No, I just sound like I know what I'm talking
about. No, you can say that. You can sound just, yeah, you do. You're right. I don't know what I'm talking about. You sound just like.
No, I didn't
you're right. You're right, ma'am. And the thing is, I got no dog in this fight, but I would tell you, you sound just like the energy is coming across, just like Lonnie Love, just like many women who have women who have poor relationships, poor relationship outcomes with men.
But you're so combative, and you don't.
I'm not combative, man. I'm not combative. I'm just direct, and that's one thing women like you can't deal with. You're used to being in the driver's seat, and I won't allow you to drive. I'm driving this. That's not combative, ma'am.
Street, but it seems to be one way.
No, there's a right way. So, I hope the best for that young man.
Seriously.
Here, let's unmute Azel. Unmute yourself. Hello. I am well. How old are you?
I'm 31.
Okay. What do you got for me?
With just the whole thing of what you're saying about women, unfortunately, I do have to say, yes, you're right. When it comes to, can I put it? She put some notes down. So I believe the one girl was ended up saying like the slavery and all the other that was going on back in the day. How the way that I can go ahead and put it. Sorry, I'm on here.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. Go ahead. You got to get to the point though.
Yes. So can I go ahead and put this? I just believe that Black women just end up getting hurt in the long run, and the situation
hurt by what?
Yeah, just by certain men, the wrong type of men. So end up getting the wrong type of men, and they may end up taking care of them. Like with my situation, I had a man that took care of me, but when he didn't get what he wanted, took the rug away from me. And after I had that situation, it took me a minute to go back.
How old are you? How old are you?
I'm 31. I'm 31.
Okay, no, and I'm gonna say something. Men get so tired of hearing how one man hurts you and how the rest of us have to give a shit.
Mm-hmm. Well, that's the thing.
Listen. Men are fed up with hearing right, wrong, or indifferent. This guy hurt me. And it's like, these are first world problems. Men are like, do y'all not realize that women that came before you got hurt? We get hurt. But it's like, this almost is tantamount to paper cuts or splinters. And women are acting like they're having amputations.
No, and because my father told me in the long run, he came to me and he said, you have to let it be the past. And so that being said, after I got myself together and did everything, I got me a high value man that decided going ahead and do stuff for me. But it took a minute, and I just
high value man to do stuff for you, like what?
Buy me a car, pay for my rent.
Are you married?
Hopefully one of these days. I'm hoping.
Why does a man have to do anything for you if you're not his wife?
Well, as father told me, if a man is not doing nothing for you, then
I know. I asked you a question. Why does a man have to do anything for a woman that's not his wife? I'm not asking what your dad told you. I'm
Yeah.
asking, because see, what I'm hearing is a woman who thinks men owe her something because she.
Exactly, right? This woman is coming off like men owe her something. And again, men are extremely big on looks. So again, what do men owe you? Come on. You owe them, at least at the bare minimum, you owe them. And again, this woman is another person bringing up the father or bringing up a parent. Or my father said, if a man can't sit there and provide for you and take you out on luxurious dates and pay for all your vacations, then he's not worthy of anything. And she's carried around that same attitude now, pushing this narrative. And of course, if she has children, especially a daughter, she's going to continue to push this narrative.
She's a female. Because what you said is a man did something for you and then took it away and pulled the rug out from you. Were you his wife? The man who hurt you, the man who hurt you.
I was engaged with that relationship.
I said, were you his wife?
No, I was not.
Then you don't deserve anything. He can take whatever he wants because it's legally his. See, this is what I mean. Listen, you want to be married one day, then listen. Because your dad's giving you some fucked up advice.
Mm-hmm.
You aren't special. You're female. Just like I'm not special, I'm a guy. But so many of you women today walk around thinking that men owe you something because you were born a woman. Men don't owe.
No, I don't think that.
Men don't owe women anything that aren't our wives.
But
so
yeah, I end up.
So when I ask you, I got a man now, and now he does stuff for me. And I ask, are you married? No. Are you why should a man do anything for you?
Stuff for each other. If you allow me to
Ma'am,
go ahead.
what do you buy him that matches up to a car in rent?
Car. I end up paying him his stuff back. Like
No. Paying back. What do you buy? No. Paying him back does not mean you buy him.
I have bought him a Lakers jersey.
A Lakers jersey, and you got a car.
Yeah.
What? This makes sense to her. She bought him an Andrew Bynum Lakers jersey. And in return, he gets a car. Like, what is going on here? He gets a Smush Parker jersey. And she gets a car. And she believes this is equal. She said, yes, that's fair trade. Seems reasonable. Fellas, and the small amount of women that watch this channel, do you see this foolishness? Oh my God.
This is the madness. This is it. She bought him a jersey. See, women like her are entitled. And they feel because they have sex with you that your bank account should be theirs. And they get used because they're not coming into relationships with good faith. Look at this, what you said. A man took his stuff away. You weren't his wife. He got tired of using his vagina and he took away his stuff. So what? If you wanted to be there, you should have married him.
You shouldn't have been talking shit.
You couldn't make this stuff up.
Yeah.
I don't need a cookbook. I'm a PhD.
I rebuke.
Execute Order 66.
He rolled for that, baby. The hell he did not, baby.
Oh man.
You might want to stop talking just to yourself and wait for me to bring you back in. You can't overtalk me, so that's why I had to mute you. I'll have the conversation with you, ma'am, but here's why we're at odds, okay? I'm gonna tell you why we're at odds. You came in saying the reason why women may do stuff in regards to men is because a man in their past hurt them. That's what you.
That's just It'd be the same
Okay.
difference if
Okay.
if there's something for a man too.
See when you hear this bass coming out of my mouth, that means shut the French toast up. That doesn't mean try to pull your dick out and overtalk me. No. Where you women think it's okay to overtalk a fucking man? You wouldn't do this in real life. Now, say what you need to say, but stop overtalking me. That's going to always set this off. Can we at least agree on that?
Yes.
Thank you. So, men who hurt you in the past, and that's why you may respond a certain way. You were saying.
It's okay. Can I talk now?
You were saying. Go ahead.
Okay. So with that being said, I learned from those situations, and I talked to my grandmother. I talked to a lot of people who are married to me to try and figure out what's the deal, because, my grandmother taught me, you have to bring more to the table than just your pussy. That's what she told me. So me being who I am now, I'm actually a nanny, and I'm on cleaning business. I do the motherly thing, cooking and cleaning and making sure everything is there for the man. And I try to be that feminine woman, but if that woman's trying to be that feminine woman, and maybe that guy is just not ready to be in a relationship, and he just may linger or just have her around.
20 seconds. Go ahead. 20 seconds.
But yeah, just have her around. So you can go. You're more than welcome to go now.
The issue is date with intention. Sounds like you date men based upon what feels good. You're in a bunch of short-term transactionary relationships, and you're not getting, and you want wife level payouts on girlfriend date level inputs. That's the problem.
Okay.
Stop dating, close your legs, and only deal with men who are husbands if you are a wife. Then if you want to be able to make demands of a man, then you need to have his last name. But until then, stay out of the dating market, because apparently your expectations don't meet up with the short-term transactionary nature of the modern dating. So what does that mean? You can't date. That means you got to go over and make yourself a wife and then put yourself in the vicinity of husbands and wait till you get picked. Are you prepared to do that?
So the stuff of what my grandmother taught me, who's been married for almost years, is not what a married woman is supposed to do? Is that what you're telling me?
Due respect to your grandmother? Your grandmother was married to your grandfather. She has nothing to do with dating today. I'm saying that all the men you're referring to seem to have fallen short in what you consider to be what they returned or invested. And the thing is, you won't get shit while you're a girlfriend or a woman. Just like a woman can go, women today stop talking to men like that, ghosting. Now men are starting to do the same thing. What your issue is you're not in a legal committed relationship where you deserve anything. And that's why I said, what do you deserve in a dating relationship? Nothing. And due respect to your grandmama, what age did she get married?
She got married when she was 18.
She can't tell you a mother flipping thing about dating. Nothing. Zero. Nothing your grandmother can tell you about dating. She doesn't know. Her vagina, her life, her time has been spent with one man. True or false?
You are.
Then what does your grandmama have to do with dating?
Well, you always say to end up going back.
The answer is nothing. See, that's the problem. You should have just said nothing. But shame, insults, guilt, the need to be right. The modern woman is on display, people. It doesn't matter. They can be
But so
soft-spoken.
how am I
Ma'am,
selfish?
because you have not even acknowledged. Okay, you just should have said, my grandma can't help me. That's the answer.
Just, I have to. I feel like that she can, in certain degrees. She helped.
Well,
she
good.
taught me how to cook. Taught me how to.
I said regarding dating.
Yeah, but isn't that everything of what a man ends up wanting? He wants a woman who can take care of the kids, be there for the kids, love the kids, make sure you stay out.
You don't have any, ma'am. You don't. First of all, you're showing right now that you don't. Your grandmother's done a poor job because you're not being agreeable.
Checkmate. Kevin just putting the pieces together. He moved the queen up right in line with the king. Checkmate. Listen, it's funny how they like to take all the, some of the good things or just nitpick at some of the things they like. But then when it comes to trying to be like their grandmother fully, they don't want to do that. Right? Your grandmother actually had more sense. She was actually in shape. Well, but you don't want to take those things. You just want to go ahead and take you just want to nitpick the little decent things that you like. And as Kevin said, you're not even submissive. But again, this woman sits here and thinks that buying someone a Nick Van Exel jersey and getting a car in return is better. So if anything, her grandma has told her how to go around and just take little things from men, right?
You're a disagreeable woman.
How? But I am agreeing.
No, you're not. I will let you go back and watch the rebroadcast and listen to the women in the comment section. I have given you were checkmated on that point, but you decided to make additional rules. And that's the problem. Black women need to learn when they're beaten and shut the French toast up. But y'all always feel like there's another move. There's another technique. Shut up sometimes. When it's one, it's one. Oh, you're right. My grandmother got married at 18. She can tell me a lot of stuff about being in a relationship, but she can't really help me regarding dating because she did not date. That's the common sense, factual, freaking answer. And what did you say? Well, I think she can. Well, look at what it's done for you. You're in your 30s and still unmarried. And everything you're talking about is what comes after a marriage. Doing something for the kids. Do you have children?
No, I have 0 kids.
Well, then why are you worried? Why should a man be vetting what you do for children that don't exist? And
But
you're not married. Why?
Okay.
That doesn't matter.
Well, maybe you can help me understand a little bit better because I'm willing to learn. I'm not here to.
It's called book a session. It's called book a session. That's not what this is. I mean, seriously, this is not what this show is for. I've given you plenty of time. And if I'm going to do this, I'm going to get paid for it. Please believe that. Hello, how are you?
And that's going to be the ending of the video. A very surgical video at that. If you guys enjoyed this video, make sure you guys like and subscribe. If you guys would like to support me any further, there will be a link in the description. You guys can go support me there. Turn on post notifications so you guys will be alerted when we upload more videos just like this one. I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace.